Hi, I'm Makaela, and today we're going to be doing a low workout. So to start, we're just going to do a quick little warm-up. We're going to start with some high knees. You can keep your hands right here so your knees touch them to make sure you're getting them up high enough. If you want, you could add some jumps to make it more challenging. And 3, 2, and 1. Alright, now we're going to move on to some crunches. So just elbow to your hand, just like this. Make sure you're getting that knee up high enough and squeezing those abs to engage them. We're going to do each of these for about 30 seconds. Alright, and 3, 2, and 1. Alright, next we're going to move on to some side shuffles. So you're going to get into a high squat position just right here. You can do a 45-degree squat. We're just going to go 1, 2, and 3, and back 1, 2, and 3. Make sure to keep that core engaged the whole time. Keep your chest up. And 3, 2, and 1. Alright, next we're going to move on to some glute kickers. So just start like this. You can add jumps if you want. We're also going to add some arm circles going forward. And switch to backward arm circles. Alright, and 3, 2, and 1. Alright, our last warm-up exercise, we're going to be doing squat pulses. So you're going to get in a squat position, feet shoulder length apart. You can have your hands out front or by your chest. We're going to go down to a squat and pulse for 1, 2, and back up. Down 1, 2, and back up. You can go as low as you want in these or as high as you want, just what's comfortable for you. And last one. Alright, good job. Done with the warm-up. Now we're going to move on to the lower body workout. So to start, we're going to start with some squats, just regular squats. You can add weight if you want, if it's too easy for you. Again, you can have your arms out in the front or by your chest. You can do a 45-degree squat or a 90-degree squat, whatever feels the best for you. We're going to do about 10 of these. Make sure you're keeping your chest up, not sending your glutes back too far. Alright, and 3, 2, and 1. Alright, good job. Next, we're going to move on to some deadlifts. Again, you can use weight if you want. So you're going to stand shoulders or feet shoulder width apart. You can use weights, and you're going to go down to your feet and back up. You're going to want to keep your back in a neutral position and your head. Make sure to keep your hands as close to your shins as possible, all the way down and all the way up. And 3, 2, and last one. Alright. Next, we're going to move on to some lunges. And with these, we're going to add a little leg raise to the front. So you're going to start, so lunge. You're going to lift your leg up to the front and back down. We're going to do about 10 of these on each leg. Make sure your knee isn't touching the floor when you go back, and make sure your knee is not going over your ankle. If this is hard for you to balance, you can just step up instead of doing the leg lift. And 2, and 1. Alright, moving on to the next leg, same thing. Back and leg up. We're going to do about 10 of these on this side too. Again, if it's hard for you to balance, You don't have to do the leg raise. All right, and 3, 2, and 1. All right, next, we're going to move on to some calf raises. You can have your hands on your hips, out to the side, whatever you want. So feet shoulder width apart. You're going to go all the way up, all the way down. Make sure it's slow and controlled the whole time. If you want to make it more difficult, you can put your toes on the mat and go up from there. That'll just make it a little bit more challenging. We're going to do about 5 more of these. And 3, 2, and 1. All right, next, you can grab some water if you want really quick. All right, now we're going to move down to the floor. We're going to be on our hands and knees. So we're going to be doing back kicks. So we're just going to be doing straight leg. So just like this. Make sure you're squeezing that core, not bending your back. Just focusing on lifting that leg up. Make sure you're squeezing those glutes to make sure they're activated. We're going to do about 10 of these on each leg. And 9, 10. All right, next leg, same thing. And again, make sure you're keeping that core in, not arching your back. And 3, 2, and 1. All right, now we're going to be in the same position, doing the same straight leg. But now we're going to be doing pulses. So you're going to keep your leg up, and you're going to pulse for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same thing with the other leg, just doing some pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, next we're going to move on to our backs. We're going to do a little core work. We're just going to do some regular crunches. So heels to your glutes. You can use your hands behind your head for support, but you're not using your arms to bring your head up. You're just using your core. So 1, 2. Make sure you're squeezing your core every time you crunch. We're going to do about 5 more. And 3, 2, and 1. All right. Next, we're going to move back onto our hands and knees. So we're going to be working on our bird dog. So this is also can be a core exercise. You can either, so you're going to lift your opposite arm, opposite leg. You can either just lift them up like this, or you can add some core into it so you can crunch. So get your elbow to your knee. Make sure you're activating that core every time you crunch again. And 2, and 1. All right, good job. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Again, you can just lift up, or you can add that crunch. Make sure you're squeezing that core tight, keeping that balance. And 2, and 1. All right. We're going to be in the same position again. We're going to work on our abductors. We're going to be doing some fire hydrants. So same position, hands and knees. You're going to be lifting one leg up to the side and back down. On these, you really want to make sure that you're going slow and controlled. you're not lifting your leg up too high or going back too fast. You should be able to feel your abductors while you're doing this. So at the top, make sure you're squeezing it and activating it. And 2 and 1. All right, same thing on the other side. On these 2, make sure you're keeping your core tight, keeping that balance. All right, and 3, 2, and 1. All right, you can take another small break if you want to. Next, we're going to move on to our stomachs. Let's do 20 more seconds for a break. You can stand up, stretch it out, shake it out, whatever you need to do. We're pretty much halfway there. All right, take those last few seconds of break. All right, so now we're going to go back down onto the floor. We're going to be on our stomachs this time. So lay on your stomach. We're going to be doing just some normal back leg kicks. So lift your leg up. For these, we're just targeting the glutes. Make sure you're not arching your back. You don't have to kick your leg up super high, just enough so that you feel that activation in your glutes. And 3, 2, and 1. All right, same thing on the other leg. Make sure you're really focusing on squeezing it. Chin stays on the floor. Again, don't have to kick super high, just enough so that you feel it. And 3, 2, and 1. All right. Next, we're going to move on to our backs. So we're going to be working on some glute bridges. For this, you can add a weight if you want to. You can add it right here on your hips. So hands are going to be at your side. Heels are going to be by your glutes. You're going to lift with your hamstrings and glutes. Make sure your back is staying straight in a neutral position. You can lean back on your feet to make sure you're really activating those hamstrings. You can think of it as kind of rolling up. Again, if this is too easy, you can add weights. And 3, 2, and 1. All right, now we're going to do the same position. We're just going to move on to single leg. You can either put your leg up or have it on your knee like this. If this is too difficult, you can just keep doing for both legs for 10. We're just going to do 5 of these on each leg. And 3, 2, and 1. All right, same thing on the other leg. On these ones too, make sure your weight is on your heel. Also make sure your heel isn't too close to your glutes. And 3, 2, and 1. All right, good job. Now we're going to move on to some more core work. So we're going to stay on our backs. In front of you. You're going to lift both legs up to a 90-degree angle. Make sure you're keeping that lower back on the floor the whole time. If you're struggling to do that, you can just lift one leg at a time. So make sure you're really focusing on that back. Also make sure you're squeezing your core the whole time. All right, and 3, 2, and 1. All right, good job. All right, now we're going to be moving on to, I call them around the world. We're going to go back to our hands. We're going to be working on our adductors and abductors for these ones. So hands and knees. Remember, core tight the whole time. Make sure you're engaging that core, engaging those muscles we're trying to work. So for these, you're going to lift your leg up and back and to the side. And then up and back again. So we're going to do this for 10. Make sure you're lifting that leg up as high as you can go while still keeping good form. Focus on those muscles that we're trying to work on, so those adductors and abductors. Alright, and 3, 2, and 1. Alright, we're going to do the same thing. Your leg, stay on your hands and knees. You're going to flig up, around, and back over. This will also work your glutes. So we're working a lot of muscles with this one. Make sure to keep that core tight and in. Almost done. And 3, 2, and 1. All right. Now we're going to be moving on to our sides. So we're going to lay down on our sides. You can either have your head on your elbow or all the way laying down. You're going to bring your knee up and have it so it's on your thigh. You can hold it if you have trouble keeping it there on your own. We're going to do some inner thigh work. So you're going to lift the bottom leg up. So this will really target those adductors that we're trying to work on. If you can't lift it up that high, that's completely fine. And 3, 2, and 1. Alright, good job. Moving on to the other side. Same thing. Other leg comes over. You can hold it if you want. And lift that leg up. 1, 2, 3. And throughout all of these exercises, just make sure you're keeping your core tight and engaged the whole time. And 3, 2, and 1. All right. Next, we're going to do one more core exercise. So we're going to move on to some Russian twists and work our obliques. You can also use weight for this to make it more challenging. So you can have your feet crossed or uncrossed. Crossed is a little bit more challenging. So you're just going to reach from side to side, really working those obliques. We're going to do about 30 of these. Again, you can use weight if you want to. Make sure to keep that chest up, back in a neutral position. Alright, let's do 8 more. Make sure you're really twisting, getting those obliques. And 3, 2, and 1. Alright. Exercise. We're going to be doing a squat to side lunge. So for this, we're going to do the squats. So hands can be out in front of you for this, or to your chest feet shoulder width apart. Go down, back up, and you're going to go to the right and do a side lunge. Back to squat, back to side lunge. We're going to do about 10 of these on each leg. Just a good finisher for our workout. Make sure on these side lunges you're not sending your glutes back too far. The squats, you can go as low as you want. And 2. And 1. Alright, other leg. You guys got this. This is our last exercise. Make sure you're really focusing on that form because we might be tired, but you always have to keep good form. Alright, and squat. Alright, almost done. Keeping your core tight again. Alright, and 2. And 1. Alright, awesome. Alright, now we're going to move on to our cool down. So we're going to do some mostly static stretching, just trying to cool our body down. We're going to do a little breathing at the end too. So our first, we're just going to do some quad stretch, holding it. You can also work on your balance with this. We're going to hold each stretch for about 10 seconds. And other leg, if you're struggling to balance, you can keep your arm out to the side. Alright, good job. Alright, now you're going to do straddle position. Arms go up and down to the floor. If you need to bend your knees, you're more than welcome to. Alright, now we're going to move to the right side. Again, if you need to bend your knee or your hands don't touch the floor, that's good. Alright, moving back to our left side. Same thing. You should feel this in your hamstrings. Just kind of stretch those out after that workout. And back to the middle. Slowly come up, shoulders being the last thing that comes up. We're going to move on to a standing side stretch. So hand on your hip, right arm goes up and over. You're going to stretch that oblique. Alright, other side. Alright, good job. Next, we're going to move down to the floor. We're going to do a butterfly position. This will just stretch out our hip flexors. Get those hips all and down. If you want more of a challenge, you can reach your knee hug. This will just stretch our hips out too. If you want, you can add a twist to stretch out more and stretch out that back. Alright, other side. Same thing. If you want to just hug your knee, you can just do that. Alright. Next, we're going to do a downward dog position. So get those glutes up. You can stretch out your calves, rotating legs, or you can just stay here and get that good stretch in your hamstrings. Shake it out a little bit here. Alright, next we're going to move on to pigeon. So from downward dog, go straight to pigeon. You can either have your chest up or elbows on the floor, whichever is easiest for you. I'm just going to hold this for a little bit. Alright, and switch. Same thing on the other leg. Stretching those hips out again. Alright, now moving on to our back. We're going to be stretching out our lower back and our hamstrings. So you're going to tuck your knee into your chest. This is a good lower back stretch. Alright, and with the same leg, you're going to straighten it out. Hands on the back of your thigh. And you can pull your leg to where there's discomfort but not pain. And if you can't go that far, that's okay. Alright, and other leg. Same thing. Stretch out that lower back and hamstrings. Make sure you're working on that breathing, getting it back to normal. And straighten that leg out. Again, just to the point of slight discomfort, not pain. Alright, one last pose. We're just going to be doing child's pose. So for this, you can start on your hands and knees. You're going to keep your toes together, knees apart. Go down to the floor. Hands outstretched in front of you. Forehead on the floor. We're just going to hold this for 3 deep breaths. And last deep breath. Alright, and we're done.